What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BTR Revolution Podcast. This your host, James Davidson Jr., aka Primo, or whatever you want to call me, JD. Man, we out here. I got one of the top players in the nation out here, man. I know this kid, man, for about 3 years now. When I first met him, he reminded me of like me in a sense because he came to me. It wasn't like I was recruiting him. Like, he knew his talent, he knew his work ethic, and he knew what he was trying to get to. And we've been through a lot. We traveled the country together, been out the country. Man, we've been to California training. Man, we've been through so many trials and tribulations, and he here. Now introducing Gemayel Cowser. How you doing, Gemayel?
Great, man. Thanks for having me, bro. It's an honor to be here. Like he said, a lot of time was spent together between us two. I knew when I met him that we was just both two men on a mission and just trying to make a way and see where life leads to.
For sure. Let me ask you this, G. I like to say that you're misunderstood because, you know, the passion that you bring to the game and to your training. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, your attitude, and I think it's just you being extremely passionate. Tell us a little bit why you're so passionate and what goes into your training that make you like that, or any life things that make you play with that much emotion.
I don't know, man. That's a lot. I just know, I'm one of God's warriors. So what I was put out to do, I gotta go do it. I can't get and understand what other people are saying when I'm focused on what I gotta do. So that's why I know if my head is on straight, then I got a clear path for me, because that's the way how God set it out for me. My thing, this is my story and I'm writing it. This has nothing to do with nobody else. You're just along characters in different chapters, but you're temporary. So I know your opinion isn't going to be as valid as somebody who's been here before and has built themselves up in my book. I know that your opinion isn't going to be as valid as that because you're only going off of what you're seeing as of right now. But when you really get to know and really get to feel something, then you will understand why I play with so much emotion. Why missing that one ground ball will make me feel like this my 20th missed ground ball. Why having that one strikeout may make me feel like this is my 15th strikeout. So it's just, it's a lot of things, bro. It's a lot of things. Like, but most importantly, I could say I just know where I was cut out to be and why I was cut out to be it, and I'm not gonna be nothing less of that.
That's real. And you're real mature for your age, man. I think a lot of people gotta realize, in order to be a top player, when you have to have a certain attitude that you bring to the game. You gotta have something that you're fighting for, you know, because that's what's gonna get you through those crazy workouts that you put yourself through, those crazy seasons, you know. So I think that, you know, what we're working on a lot is just being able to control that and being able to, you know, pull those qualities and traits and master those and be able to express them in different ways on the field, you know. But the way that I coach, the way that I teach, I would never take that away because, you know, we from the south side of Chicago, and it's a lot of things that we endure at a young age, you know. Speaking of that, what is one of the hardest challenges that you had to face being a kid from Chicago and trying to be successful?
Distractions, man. Distractions. Chicago's a big city. It's a lot of mixed bipolar attitudes in Chicago. I don't. It was so many of them at a small period of time. Like it's hard to say that they didn't come in groups. Like at a young age, it was so much. It was so much room for negativity to happen that I knew sooner or later that we were gonna have to take that next step, because it's not appropriate to take BP and also hear, things that you're not supposed to. So it's a lot of things that come with from being from the south side of Chicago, but I don't know, man. It definitely breeds warriors, though.
For sure, for sure. I know you like giving back to the kids. Like, so what would be some advice, not just for the kids in Chicago, but the younger kids coming up? What would be a piece of advice that you would give them if they're trying to be a top player? And what would be one question that you would ask someone that's in a level above you, um, as words of advice for you to continue to grow as a player?
Um, One thing that I would ask somebody who I see as inspiration and that I look up to, it really interests me how pros consistently stay pros. It's like you've never seen a pro and then they're just not a pro out of nowhere. There's a process in between that. So I want to know what keeps you consistently a pro. Like Shaquille O'Neal he was a pro at basketball. Then he became a pro with business. He became a pro in life, became a pro father. So that's my thing. I want to know how to become a pro in life with the small steps of guidance that's just needed through life. Then if I get the right source, I feel like I'll be straight. And to the kids coming up, like not even from the south side of Chicago, whether you come from a rough background or maybe not, I think it's just always important to know that there's always somebody working, and when you don't want to take that extra swing, somebody else will. So every extra step is one less strikeout. Every extra rep is, one less error. So every time you just feel, not motivated or something like that, just always know there's somebody else who's willing to do that. And you got to beat them to it. Again, it's a marathon, not a race. So
That's real talk, real talk. I mean, when it comes to being a pro and being consistent, it's always going to be sacrifices. And it's going to be the things that you have to sacrifice that you don't want to sacrifice all the time. And sometimes it just may be temporary, like a temporary sacrifice, like not going to this party today because you got a game this weekend, but going to the next one 2 weeks from now. And it's prioritizing. It's about prioritizing the important things. And once you start doing that, you'll start making better decisions to become a professional, because it's habits. It's habitual. So, and I think that was excellent advice for you giving the kids. Hard work beats talent every single day. You see it. Those kids that's the number one 11-year-olds in the nation don't turn out to be the number one overall pick when it all comes said and done. And the number one overall pick sometimes don't pan out to be the best player in the league, So it's about who's willing to put that work in, you know. Another question for you. The Be the Revolution event weekend, you was able to participate in it last year. Tell us a couple things that you took away from it last year, that you probably carried and still use today.
Man, the BTR camp last year was a movie. I mean, it was great. Um, I learned a lot of things during the BTR camp last year. I mean, I had a lot of great guys around me, a lot of great guys, which I'm extremely thankful for. Um, I don't. It was like I was a up and coming rapper, and I'm sitting in a room with Jay-Z, Drake, Kanye, like just absolute goats. And like I'm just absorbing knowledge as I'm there. It was fantastic. But the one thing that they stressed I could really say in a BTR camp was preparation. And the thing is, the key to success is preparation. And that's why I think that they forced it and wanted to get that as like a very strong mental point in our brain, because it was obvious that it was just better endurance, better energy, better just an all around better vibe at the BTR camp last year because we prepared the right way. We came in there head down, ready to work, knowing like, yeah, this is a fun event, but at the same time, we're still trying to get put on the map here. Like, we got college coaches streaming us. We got college coaches there. Like, we got MLB scouts here. Like, I mean, it was you if you want to get put on the map, the BTR camp is, I mean, it's electric.
Man, we appreciate that, and we appreciate the experience that you was able to have being at that event. And you know, the BTR event is different than most events out here. It's built around more development than actually showcase. Because I mean, look at the word showcase. It's time for you to showcase your talents. The BTR is to give you those qualities to help you be able to showcase and actually stand out. Because what's the point of playing games? What's the point of playing games if you're not going to show up and show out? If you're not going to be the best one in the tournament, how are you going to get a scholarship? So it's about getting the correct information, using that, and taking it with you and becoming one of those guys. And then hopefully you can be the guy. So it's not about rankings. It's not about none of that. It's about showing up, working hard, learning something, and using that to become a pro. Um,
Yeah, man. Um, for example, I want y'all to go back and I want y'all to see the top 3 draft picks from this year. And the number 1 draft pick was Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens didn't go to. I seen PG posted one showcase of Paul Skeens. The only showcase he's ever went to. One showcase. And that man is the number 1 draft pick. The number 1 player on earth. The number 1 draft pick right there. I didn't know who he was until he got to LSU. When he played at Air Force, I didn't even know who he was. He came out, bro. God, that was literally like, here, I'm going to give you this short amount of time to do the best of what you can. And he just put his head down and hard butt, bro. He worked, dog. And that just goes to show you, bro. It all matters about who throws the most, who hits the most, who's working the most, who's being the most consistent. And if you win that mental race, you should be in a great spot in life.
that's real. Last question here. Everybody's been wondering where you're going to high school. It's something that you still don't want to tell, but I'm gonna try to get it out here. What you thinking about, or what's your options? What's your options with high schools?
as of right now, everything's still on the drawing board. But what do we want here? Like a top 3, top 5?
We can go top 3.
Top 3. I can say Loyola, Miracosta, Mount Carmel.
Ooh. Are y'all hearing this? This is not just in one state. This is Midwest and West Coast. So, I mean, parents, if y'all out there listening, these are the options that y'all can do for y'all kid if y'all focus on the development.
Hey, shout out Christian Bros too. Shout out Christian Bros. My baby's down in Memphis. You know I love you guys. Forever love you guys. Shout out y'all boys.
Yeah, but like I was saying, if you work on the development aspect, it puts you in a position to make decisions that's best for you. And if you think about it, it's the education as well. Like using baseball as a vehicle or using sports in general as a vehicle to get the education that you need. That's huge. So I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in today. I appreciate you, Gemayel, for, taking the time out your day and giving a good advice and your experience. We look forward to continuing to working with you and watching you get to that next step and hopefully be one of the top players in the world for a long period of time. So this is the Be the Revolution podcast. We out.
See you guys, man.
This episode is brought to you by 5 Key Fitness. Check out this amazing website and start your fitness journey today.